Hello and welcome to the Monday Muse. I am Abby Haverman, your host, and today I want to talk about what happens when we make the goal showing up as the best version of ourselves. In other words, you know what it feels like when you show up irritably, you show up resentfully, you show up with guilt or shame or impatience or comparing yourself to other people or boastful. All the ways that our ego gets in our way and shows up in conversations or in relationships or in meetings in ways that we then look back and say, ugh, I wish I hadn't done that, said that, felt that, been that way. And I believe that one of the things that brings us the most peace in life is when our intentions are aligned with the way that we behave and we are, in fact, bringing our best selves to the table. I think that brings emotional freedom. We walk away from situations feeling like it might not have gone exactly the way that I wanted it to go, but man, I'm proud of how I showed up. I'm proud of how I handled myself in that situation. Whether it was a difficult situation or an easy situation, how you led, how you modeled, who you were, how much compassion and kindness you showed for the people around you and yourself. And so what if that were the goal? What if the goal of the day was not to conquer this, that, or the other business ideal, or to get your spouse or child to do the thing that you want them to do, or to get through the entire list that you have on your desk of all the things that you have to do today? What if the goal was, hey, in every interaction that I have today, my goal, my aim is to show up as the best version of myself? Before I go into this, I just want to say, when we set a goal like this, it's very easy for the next thought to be, I just screwed all that up. I was supposed to be kind and this and that all day, and now I lost my temper at the traffic, and now I'm going to beat myself up all day. No, that is not what I want to happen here. I want to just open up some curiosity about shifting the focus that we normally have about drive, get this done, to what if the biggest thing that I get to check off my list today is that I made attempts to be my best self in all of my interactions today, or as many interactions as I was able to today. When I review myself for the day, it's not all the things I get to check off my list, it's how I showed up in the world. Not because I want you to beat yourself up if you didn't show up perfectly, because none of us do. And in fact, beating yourself up would be not paying attention to how you're showing up, because I did mention guilt and shame in there as a couple of the things that do happen during the day and the ways in which we show up in the world that we're not happy with. So it's not about beating yourself up. This is not another thing to compare yourself to. This is just a conversation about getting curious about what would it be like if instead of pushing and striving and trying to reach some height that you have in your head of I'll feel better when this happens, and comparing yourself to all these other people, what if you shifted your focus to, you know what, my goal is to be the best me that I can be today or in this moment. And the reason that I focus there is because I believe, first of all, that really that's what most people want to be, particularly high-functioning, breadwinning women with big lives and big missions. Really, when you strip down to the bottom of it, we want to be the best version of ourselves. We want to show up in the way that we know that we can, with kind and compassion, loving leadership, all of those things, generosity. And when we have a day like that, it's extremely rewarding. It's more rewarding than getting that big deal or buying something new or hitting some salary goal. The type of joy that you feel when you know that you showed up to a situation as the best version of yourself is a joy that you feel from the inside out. It's not the quick happiness fix that you get from buying shoes or shopping. So that's the number one reason that I want to talk about this, because I feel that it really brings emotional freedom. When you show up as your best self, you feel emotional freedom. Secondly, I personally believe that is actually why we're here. So a lot of people will say, I'm here, I've got this gift, I'm here to give back to others, I'm here to do this, that, and the other. I believe that we're all here to become the best versions of ourselves, to work through what our soul's journey is in this time around, and to evolve so that we can become the best versions of ourselves. And this helps us work off our karma, become more conscious and more aware, and not have to come back in the next life and do the same thing all over again to learn the same lessons because we didn't learn it this time around. The third reason why I like to focus on being my best self as my goal for every day is it's the one thing that I can control. And it doesn't mean that I can control it and that I do it all perfectly. I don't. But I can control ultimately how I behave and what I'm going to do if I didn't behave the way that I wanted to behave. I can clean up my side of the street. I can say I'm sorry. I can think more about how I can show up differently tomorrow. I can make sure that I don't allow my attention to drift onto feeling guilty about how I responded, or ashamed, or insecure, or self-doubting, or self-righteous, or all those things. I can take responsibility for saying, if I'm going to be my best self, I cannot let my attention drift into those areas. My attention has to be on an honest evaluation of how I did that day, and self-forgiveness, kindness, and authenticity. And then finally, the reason that I like to focus on having the main goal be being the best version of you is that it's contagious. When you are working on yourself and you're open and you're vulnerable about it and you are taking care of your side of the street, people notice that. And when you show up in a different way, the people around you show up in a different way. So a lot of times we get really concerned with how other people are behaving. We want them to do this, we want them to do that. And we try all kinds of tactics to try and get people to do what we want them to do. We might lose our temper, we might get upset at them, we might nag them, we might become a victim around them. All kinds of things to make ourselves feel better by making our outer circumstances different. But the truth of the matter is that when you simply focus on you and trying to be the best version of you, which again, I can't say this enough, includes that when you do not show up in a way that you're crazy about, that you do not go into guilt and shame. But when that's your focus, instead of getting the deal or getting someone else to do something or pleasing another person, then people around you notice, the energy around you shifts, and the people around you are lighter, and they are more likely to begin to notice and say, what are you doing? I want some of that emotional freedom myself. And the more people that we can get to focus just on being the best versions of themselves, well, then we're sort of changing the world when it comes to that. So what are the goals that you have? I have a planner. I have my top goal for the week. I've got my top goal, 3 goals for the day. Every month I have goals that I'm trying to accomplish. And there's a lot of material type things of goals. I want to get this trip planned out. I want to study this, that, or the other. I want to meet this business goal. But at the top of the list is I want to be the best version of myself. I want to show up to my family. I want to show up to my team. I want to show up to the people that I work with. I want to show up to my colleagues in a way that is honest and with integrity, where I'm not better than or less than. I'm not comparing myself. I'm not teaching where I'm not asked to be a teacher. And I'm not muting myself where I'm being asked to step forward. That's the top goal every single day. And every single night, it's how did I do? Yes, I do check off. Did I cold plunge today? Did I go to the gym? Did I walk? Did I get X, Y, or Z project done? I do check those off on my list because I think that's fun and I like to check things off. And I like to reflect and see when I didn't do the things I needed to do. But the real review is in all the things that I did or didn't do today. Did I show up as my best self? Was I kind? Was I generous? Was I considerate to myself and to others? And the answer is not always yes. And so then the question is, well, what do I need to do differently? Do I need to materially do something different in this moment? Do I need to clean something up tomorrow? Do I need to do something different energetically? Do I need to send a prayer of forgiveness or apology in a direction? Do I need to have this top of mind tomorrow? Any number of things. But to continue to stay conscious that I'm trying to move along a path to become a better and better version of myself, or you could say it differently, really become more and more of myself, because I do believe that we're here to come back to ourselves. It's not that we're trying to become anything different. It's that we are becoming more of ourselves. So what's on your list? And what would it be like if the challenge of the day was to be your best self and you measured your progress for the day and the week against who you showed up as and how you showed up? Because I will tell you, the more you can do that on a day-to-day basis, the more often you're going to catch yourself. This morning, I was in the kitchen with my husband and I just picked a fight, like out of nowhere. We were having a perfectly fine morning and I just made some snarky remark and off we went. And it didn't turn into much, but like 5 minutes later, I just said, God, well, that was a fight I didn't need to pick. That's silly. I'm really sorry. And I was able to do it like in that moment because I'm in the habit of this. And he was like, okay. And that was that, right? Where it could have been something completely different. It could have been him going off to his office, me going off to my office, and just starting everything on a icky note. And that's going to make him more likely to be able to apologize to me when he's the one doing that kind of thing. So the more you can pay attention to what you're doing, the more you're going to be able to catch yourself in the moment, the less you're going to do it, and the better you're going to feel about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, that is called emotional freedom. And to me, that's the highest currency there is. So let me know how this goes for you. Take a look at your calendar, see if there's a place to put that as the goal and a place to review at the end of the day, not with judgment, just with I'm on a journey to come back to myself and be the best version of myself and to continue to get closer and closer and closer to that. That's what I'm here to do. And see if you notice anything around you change. Please have a listen to the other muses if this was interesting to you and pass this on if you think it would be interesting to someone else. Have a great day.